Welcome to BizTV's Beyond the Brand. I'm Kelli Phillips. Bryan Yerg is here today. He runs Yerg Services, a home repair company, providing handyman and home improvement services in North Texas. Bryan is dedicated to helping his clients protect their most valuable investment, their home. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more of BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Joining us today is a professional who understands that the foundation of a strong home starts with reliability and expert care. As the owner and operator of Yerg Services, he's built a reputation in the heart of Texas for providing high-quality, dependable handyman and maintenance solutions. Whether it's a complex repair or essential home improvement, he focuses on integrity and a customer-first philosophy to help homeowners protect their most valuable investments. Please welcome Bryan Yerg to the show. We appreciate you being here, Bryan. And first, before we get started, I want the audience to kind of know a little bit about you. Where'd you grow up? What was life like? What led you down this path to what you're doing today?
Sure. So I originally was born in Dallas County, but moved over into Arlington. I went through high school here through the AISD, and then I got involved in filming and broadcasting high school sports online here locally with a company called Penny Entertainment. And then, that experience there kind of gave me help with managing crews and things of that nature, getting materials and equipment together to go out to a certain site. After that, I actually went to school to be an electrician. I actually left the broadcast community completely. And
okay, I've got to ask why.
I think I just always had a passion with working with my hands. I can remember being 10 years old and helping build the fence and not needing help. And it was just kind of a knack that I had. And so that ability to do that and see something that isn't there, you come to life, like someone who wanted to install lights or something like that. You can't visualize that. How do you even get it there? How do you begin? Right. So that kind of always intrigued me. And so after doing the electrical trade for 13 years, I was lying in bed one night and woke up from a sleep and woke my wife up and said, "Hey, I think I'm going to start a company." And she said, "Can we talk about it in the morning?" And I said,
really
sure.
would like to sleep right now.
Yes.
But it was a dream.
No. I just kind of woke up
okay.
and I think I just kind of played it out in my head. And then I nudged her and I was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And so we, got together the next morning and I kind of laid it out and I said, "This is what I'm thinking to do." And she was a school teacher at the time, so she was still working there for the school district. And I was like, I think we could do it. And so the next day we started paperwork and never looked back after that.
And that was more than a year ago now.
Correct. Yeah. So we actually got the official paperwork from the state for our LLC back on the 31st of December of 2024 and opened up shop January 16th of 2025.
Wow. So you've already made that first big hurdle. I've got to ask, have you learned anything along the way?
Tons.
Like?
Get it in writing. Get it in writing.
That's what you tell all the homeowners, right?
Well, and for myself, there's certain things that as we're going through, and if they say that they want a certain wall to come out a certain distance, and that's what I build it to, and then they come back and they say, "Well, I said I wanted it to be longer." It's like, all right, well, we have receipts. We're good. We have it written down. And also, yes, the same for them. Always get it in writing. Absolutely. I would say that's probably the biggest thing. When going into it, always get everything written down because change orders and things like that happen and it's all verbal and things can get lost. And also just in translation, whenever you're talking to somebody, if it's in writing, it can't be misunderstood.
Yeah. So did your wife leave her teaching career and join you?
She did. So she finished out that semester. And then that summer, she came on full time with us. But during that time, it was, hey, you sure are working a lot. You sure, because I was still trying to do the work, get the work, and then also all the social media and all that presence to build the brand that I was trying to do. I would be doing that at night until 12 or 1 o'clock at night, and so our time was extremely limited, and we were like this before all this came along, right? So I was like, I think it's time. I think we need to bring you over full time. And so at the end of the school year, she made the transition, and I got to give it all to her.
So what's it like working with your spouse?
Oh, it's great. So, our base camp is at home. So she's there. So I get all my meals, she's always home to make me fresh meals. She's always making sure that I'm fed.
You're spoiled is what you're saying, Bryan.
Oh, I'm very spoiled. I'm extremely spoiled. But, I'm in and out all the time. So she's the one that makes sure that I'm getting everything that I need. So here's your food. Here's your clean clothes also. And then between that, whenever I'm in between projects or if I'm coming home to work on estimates, she's right there beside me working on a video, getting it put together. And so we still get that time together, even though we're both working. Just to be in each other's presence is kind of, the blessing and that we've gotten from starting our own company. So
did you always want to start your own company? Was that something growing up that you thought, I think I'm going to become an entrepreneur one day?
I didn't. Actually, I thought originally I was going to do broadcast. That was my thing once I got involved in it. And, truthfully for me, my agreement with the company that I worked for, and I've never told them this and they probably don't know, was I had to go to school, right? I was supposed to go to school, get a 4-year degree. And so I had done a semester here at TCC, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me, and truthfully, instead of just coming up and saying, hey, I don't think this is the route I need to go. Again, I'm very hands-on type. And so, I was like, I'm going to just leave, and find something that is, more hands-on. And so I stepped away from that. Once I got into electrical, then I started thinking I would like to own my own company because, I get it. I understand it. So that's where it started. When doing that, you have to have licenses and all that stuff in the state of Texas, which is where we're located. And so I have my journeyman through the state. I passed all that when I was working for the electrical contractor I worked for. And I've already done prep course for my master's. So the plan is still to open that side of it and do that. But that's what originally started it. And I didn't need all that to start the handyman service. So I just needed my skills. So I was like, you know what? Let's put this one on the back burner and get this going. And if anything, it'll help and maybe give me more time once this gets going. I can focus more on that and expand it.
So when you were in electrical and then you transitioned to handyman, you still dabble in electrical?
So there's certain things within the state that I am allowed to do with the license that I have, right? So if you have an existing ceiling fan or a light fixture that you want to just change out or a light switch, I can do that. If you want to add circuits, pull a new service, anything that's considered permitted work that would require a permit, then you have to have a master sign off on that. So that's kind of where your line stops. And it's very similar with plumbing and things like that. You can do the same thing with sinks, little plumbing fixtures in your shower and whatnot. But if I was going to run a main line and tie into the city,
you'd have to have
we would have to get that master to sign off on that. And thankfully, in the trades that I've were involved in, I worked on some pretty big projects like the Rangers ballpark over in Arlington.
Yes.
All of the Star in Frisco, all the Cowboys training facility up there. So I came in contact with a lot of different trades, plumbers, electricians, other friends that have already gone off and started. So when I do come across one of those, and I just pick up the phone and call one of them and say, hey,
you've already got the Rolodex established.
Hey, we're going to do this job. Can you come sign off on it? And they'll send a journeyman if it's a plumber, and get it all working.
Well, we need to take a quick break, but stick around because I want to talk more about what services you offer and more about your company. So Stick around. We'll be back with more BizTV right after this. Be sure to scan the QR code on your screen to sign up for BizTV's monthly newsletter, The Biz Beat, where you'll get articles, business news, and columns by BizTV's personalities, all sent directly to your inbox. And we are back with Bryan Yerg of Yerg Services, and you're basically a handyman, but explain the different services that you do offer.
So pretty much anything that has to do with your home, we fix it. And if I don't, then someone on my crew has the ability to. We work with some realtors here in DFW. So when they're trying to get a house ready to sell, that can be mortar on the brick outside. That can be tile around a pool. We've completely retiled a pool. We have gone and installed new windows, so window service, door service, floor service, interior and exterior painting, pretty much anything that you can think of that if you're going to buy a home, you're like, yeah, that needs to be fixed, or you've purchased a new home and it would need to be touched up. Anything of that would fall under us. Okay,
we live in a world where everything is DIY. And you can YouTube tutorial all day long, pros and cons about people that want to do it themselves.
So I think it's great. If you want to do anything yourself, I think it's great. I think anybody that can live and not need to rely on somebody else to do something for them is great. A goal of mine would be to live out in the middle of the country.
I think you've got everybody.
With my own electrical source, my own, well, and anything of that nature. So I think it's great. If you can learn and do it yourself, that's fantastic.
But at what point is it, I should have called in somebody a long time ago?
Plumbing is one that I would say don't play with. Electrical is one I would say don't play with. If you want to play around with trying to texture your wall or paint your wall, feel free. It always comes off. You can sand it all back down and you can start over again.
But doesn't the cost just go up? Because
Sure, it does.
Okay.
Sure, it does.
So it benefits you.
If you don't get it, eventually just call me and we'll come and take care of it. Yeah, not a problem. But, it's better to try on that wall and get the texture down than see if you can get that plumbing fixture to stop leaking. And next thing you know, it's flooded your house.
Yeah.
So pros and cons, not so much pros and cons as it is do's and don't touch.
Don't touch. Yes. Don't mess with.
Touch. Yeah.
What are some common things that people in Texas, our summers are brutal here. What are some things that homeowners don't do that they should do?
So, the winters that we've had here recently cause a lot of freezing. Some people don't winterize pipes, things of that nature. So their sprinkler lines may be on. It may be leaking out there. They don't even know it. I was walking at a house the other day fixing something inside the home. And we were going to cut the water off out at the front meter. And as we're walking, I noticed this pool of water. And they have acreage, so they don't notice. They don't cover all that ground. And they said, what do you think it is? And I said, I think it's your sprinkler pipe. I think when it froze, it expanded, broke, and now that water's just seeping out. And they said, I wonder why my water bill was getting high. Right? So things of that nature. Check your yard as you start turning on your water supply back out to your sprinklers. Look for holes inside the eaves of your roof line where animals have tried to go in during the winter, and now they've made holes and they're living and eating and breeding inside of your attic space.
Which could mean electrical lines for your AC,
plumbing lines,
Oh, big problems.
Yeah, so things of that nature. Just take a look, walk around, and you'd be surprised at the damage that can be caused by a winter to siding and things of that nature. The amount of water that you get as it starts to deteriorate, that's just allowing openings for those rodents and stuff to get in. So things of that nature is what I would look for.
Anything else that we need to consider getting ready for the summer heat?
Yeah, get your pergola built. We do those. Get your awning set up so that you're not sitting in baking in the Texas sun. Get that deck ready so that you can sit out there and barbecue and enjoy the 4th of July that we're about to have.
So you're not just talking inside your house, you're talking outside,
everything. Yeah, I mean, I think you should enjoy the inside and the outside just as much. So in preparation for the summer, there's a lot of things to get ready. Stain that deck. Get it nice, before you have all the traffic on there. It's just going to ruin it. So you might as well protect it.
A lot of people wait till holidays or big events to do certain things in their house. Is there any advice that you could give somebody holding off and waiting for this big list to do?
The advice that I would give is, some of the tasks that you have, say you have a leak. And it's just a small leak. You see a little bit of damage, but you can live with it. You don't know what's going on behind the wall there. So the longer that you sit on that list, the more damage that could be caused on that. And so when you are building that list and you are going through and you're saying, let's maybe get someone out here to look at this, the sooner the better. If you wait till the holidays, you may end up with a bill larger than what you fully anticipated, because here you are thinking it's a small leak, but now it's been going for 3 months because you thought you had till the holidays when you were off to maybe get it done and taken care of. Mm-hmm. And now all the studs and the wood are rotted. You got mold, now all that has to be removed.
Drywall, mm-hmm. Replace the studs, and the list just...
all the insulation, everything.
Where do you see your business growing from here? I mean, is it where you want it to be?
No, it's not. Not as of yet. So, the pride that I get for where we're at with the company is in the employees that we have and the other families that we help feed, my wife and I. That's our goal, is to take care of as many people as we can. My first employee was my younger brother, who has been doing flooring for 10 years. And I felt he was being taken advantage of from the company that he was working for. And I said, well, come on, I can teach you this other stuff, So he came over, and so that was where it started, was seeing his life change from where he was to having a career and something that he can actually, provide for his family with. And so as that expanded, and now we have four employees total, plus my wife and I. So there's excitement in that. And I would love to expand and maybe get to maybe 5 crews and have, a total of 10. And that would probably be enough for me, because it keeps me pretty busy. But I think helping those people, I don't know that I'd be able to stop. I don't know that I'd say, you know what, I'm going to cap it at 10.
Yeah.
I might have to keep going, If the kids get into it and they're like, hey, we can get involved.
Is that a goal?
That's my son's. He says he wants to work for us, and he also says he wants to own a food truck. So
it could be a combination of both.
Could be both, Yeah.
Do you have advice for entrepreneur wannabes out there?
Do it. I had an employee whenever I was working for the electrical contractor, and she was working in the electrical trade, and she got into doing eyelashes and all that beautician stuff, and it really started to take off. And her dad owned an electrical company, and his plan was always, you get your licenses and then you can come and run my company. And so she was only supposed to be for us for an interim time anyways. But this company started, and she's like, I really want to do it. My dad doesn't want me to. He really wants me to do that, but I think it has a chance. And she was really great at social media branding and all that. And it took off, and it was surpassing her paycheck every week within a couple days. And I said, you got to do it. Don't do it. I said, do it the right way. When you leave that company, make sure you put in a 2-week notice. Make sure you do everything the right way. Don't burn that bridge, because you always want to be able to come back if possible, right? If things don't work out. So make sure you do it the right way. Plan it out, but pull the trigger. Go do it. Because if you don't, then you're always going to be wondering, what if I would have, taken that leap and and done it.
Yeah. What if
What
you
would my
had
life
not started?
What if I didn't wake her up in the middle of the night? If I just kept it to myself and,
Would you still be doing electrical
I'd
work?
probably still be just another number at a company and, going about my day and, hoping to break up the monotony of the week with the weekend. And that would be that, and now I'm working in a new place every single day, new task. And that's.
Is your life fulfilled right now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. God has blessed me beyond anything that I could ever imagine.
How can folks get in touch with you if they need your help?
So we can be reached on our website at YergHandymanServices.com. We can also be found on all the major social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yerg Remodeling and Handyman Services is our DBA for that. Come find us.
All right. Sounds good. Continued success.
Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it.
And we'll be right back with more BizTV. Thanks for watching BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Be sure to subscribe to the BizTV YouTube channel, where you'll find full episodes of this show, fresh BizTV content, and a few surprises each week to help you stay inspired.